Vivashadi Gaurabhakta Vrinda. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Vivashadi Gaurabhakta Vrinda. Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaurabhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, Dandat Pranams all. We welcome all of you for the today's morning program. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. We are very fortunate to hear today from His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj. We'll be playing the recorded class of Maharaj because whoever is scheduled speaker, he has got some urgency and could not. So the topic is Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, 7th chapter and text 8. Let me play. Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Deving Sarasating Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, chapter 7, the activities of King Bharat, text 8. It's in a prose form, so I'll just read it through. Evang Varshayuta Sahasra Parjanta Vasita Karma Nirvana Vasaro Dhi Mujjamanang Tamahang Jathadayang Vibhajya Swayang Shakala Sampan Niketa Shaniketa Pulahashramang Prabhabraja. Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Destiny fixed the time for Maharaj Bharat's enjoyment of material opulence at 1,000 times 10,000 years. When that period was finished, he retired from family life and divided the wealth he had received from his forefathers among his sons. He left his paternal home, the reservoir of all opulence, and started for Pulahashram, which is situated in Hardwar. The Shaligram Shilas are obtainable there. Please repeat after me. Destiny fixed the time for Maharaj Bharat's enjoyment of material opulence at 1,000 times 10,000 years. When that period was finished, he retired from family life and divided the wealth he had received from his forefathers among his sons. He left his paternal home, the reservoir of all opulence, and started for Pulahashram, which is situated in Hardwar. The Shaligram Shilas are obtainable there. Was someone eating sweets holding the book? It has some. Anyway. Okay. So. I don't know what is there. There. Was someone eating sweets holding the book? It has some. Anyway. Okay. So, activities of King Bharat. Do you remember who is King Bharat? Whose son is King Bharat? How many of you remember? Okay. Lord Rishabdev. How many sons Rishabdev had? 100. And who was the eldest? Out of them were 9 very special. Who are those? Navijogendra. And so Maharaj Bharat became the king. And he ruled for Evang Barsho Ajuta Sahasra Parjanta Ajuta. So, I don't know what is there. What's that? Coming out. এটা কার বই এটা? মন্দিরের বই। See. Temple should be clean. And what to speak of the books? Scriptures should be even cleaner than the temple. Don't touch the books with dirty hands. Anybody touch the book, wash your hands first. Okay? It's okay, don't worry. So, Ajuta Sahasra. Ajuta Sahasra. One Ajuta is 10,000. And Sahasra is 1,000. So 10,000 multiplied by 1,000. That means 10 million. Ajut, Lakhya, Nijut, Kati, then Arbud. Yeah, it's one Arbud. No, Koti is one, 10 Koti is one. 10 Koti is one Arbud. So, okay, this is 1 Koti. 1 Koti. Yeah. 1,000 multiplied by 10,000. No, it's 10,000. Anyway, I can't calculate it. So, then, who was Bharat Maharaj? He was a king. And he was not only the king of a small kingdom, like Ujjain or Avanti or even Madhya Pradesh or Bharatvarsha. He was the ruler of the entire earth planet. So you can well imagine how opulent he was. And he left everything. So this is the Vedic culture. Why nowhere else, in no other part of the world, we have seen a single instance of a king left his kingdom and went to the forest? How many of you studied world history? Okay, Abhay Charan's hand went up first. So is there any single instance of a king of England or France or Russia gave up his kingdom, or Rome? They have killed their fathers to get the kingdom, but no one ever gave up the kingdom. There are enough instances. Father had been killed, brother has been killed to get the kingdom. But there hasn't been any instance of anyone giving up his kingdom. Now, what is the reason? Why these kind of instances do we find only in India? Raga Pandit? Why only in India? बताओ, शर्माने का बात नहीं. Anyone will answer that? Jamuna Priya? Yes, it looks like you're about to say something.
India is spiritual knowledge, so.
Very good. Because India is the country where everybody gets spiritual knowledge. And when one gets spiritual knowledge, what does he understand? The spiritual knowledge means it gives us first understanding. This life is not everything. We will continue to be. We had been here before, and we will continue to be in future, after this life. And the way we act now, accordingly we'll get the result in future. That's one important consideration. Like if you know that your wrong action will be punished, will result into punishment. Will you act in a wrong way? If you know that some temporary gain may cause you a very big loss in future, will you do that? If for the sake of getting 10 rupees now, if you have to pay 1000 rupees afterwards, will you ever take the 10 rupees? If you know that this is amounting to what? Stealing. If you steal now, say 10 rupees, then in future you have to pay in punishment 1000 rupees or more. Then will you take that 10 rupees? If you know that the way you are acting now will create the future reaction, then won't you become very careful how to act? And what will happen? You will act in the right way and never act in a wrong way. So always remember that. Like, as the example I give, you take something now for 10 rupees, you may think, well, no one is seeing me, so I can take it. Right? Or you may think that somebody may think, it's all right, no one is seeing, so somebody is giving me some bribe, it's all right. No. Karmana daiva netrena. Daiva netrena, there are daiva eyes. Demigods are seeing with their eyes. And they can't miss anything. They don't miss anything. And everything is written down. There is no way you can get out of it. So that is one thing that we understand when we get the spiritual knowledge. Then, furthermore, we get to know that there is Krishna. The arrangement is here. Above that, there are demigods who are watching. And ultimately, the demigods are actually Krishna's employees. Krishna's subordinates who are actually taking care of these affairs of this material world. But ultimately, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the Supreme Controller. And then we get to know that we have a loving relationship with Krishna. We can develop a loving relationship with Krishna. And when we develop the loving relationship with Krishna, then not only we become free from all our material bondage, but we can go back to the spiritual sky. If we surrender to Krishna, not only we will become free from all our sinful reactions, no matter whatever we have done in the past, no matter how much money we have stolen, no matter how many people we have killed, no matter how sinful activities we have done, if I surrender unto Krishna, then everything will be nullified. All the sins will be nullified. And what kind of sins do we have? Is there anyone who thinks that he is sinless here? You have become sinless. But beforehand, what was our situation? We committed so many sins. We don't even know how many sins we have committed. So many lifetimes in the past. But Krishna gave the assurance, Ahang tvang sarva papebhyo mokshaisham. I will deliver you from all your sinful reactions. When? Sarva dharman parityajya mamikam sharanam braja. You just surrender unto me. So that is Krishna's assurance. Surrender unto me. So in the Vedic culture, one understands that. He knows that this life is not everything. But this life comes with an opportunity to develop our relationship with Krishna. So even if somebody may be a king, he recognizes that he is not going to rule over his kingdom forever. Can the king rule over his kingdom forever? Can a very rich man can have his wealth forever? Someday he'll have to leave everything. Like so many rich people have died and gone away. When Prabhupada was, when Ambarish Prabhu, our god brother, who is the great grandson of Henry Ford, he was introduced to Srila Prabhupada as he is the great grandson of Henry Ford. You know what was Prabhupada's response? Oh, Henry Ford, where is he now? To us, Henry Ford is such a big man, but where is he now? He had been such a big man so that we can remember him even today. But where is he now? Is there any guarantee that he has become another Henry Ford somewhere? He has become a king somewhere or a big state president somewhere? Is there any guarantee? On the other hand, what are the possibilities? There are so many different possibilities. Prabhupada gave the example that when somebody becomes too attached to his wealth, he can become a cockroach in the house because of his attachment to the house. He can become a snake in the house because of his attachment. He thinks, even after death, he thinks, oh, I have to protect my wealth. And as a snake, it protects. There are so many different possibilities. One big person in India, very big person in India, Prabhupada said he became a dog in Switzerland. And not Sweden. He was the big Prime Minister of India. And he has become a dog in Sweden. And became someone's best friend. So these are the possibilities. No matter how wealthy, no matter how powerful, how influential, how learned one is, there is no way of knowing what's going to happen after death. But at least one thing we know, that if we surrender unto Krishna, then He'll take care of us. That understanding was there. And that is why personality like Bharat Maharaj could leave his kingdom and go to the forest. Because they knew, he knew what is the ultimate goal of life and what can happen if one doesn't act properly. And when one acts with that understanding, then he becomes free from material bondage. On the other hand, people always dwell in this material attachment. Did I tell you about the rickshawala in Calcutta? Okay, that was a long time back. I was just a new devotee. Me and one American godbrother of mine, we were in Calcutta. So we took a rickshaw. And when you're a new devotee, you're very enthusiastic to preach. So I started to preach to the rickshawala. That why are you pulling the rickshaw? Like, how much do you earn? From morning till night you're working so hard. Why don't you join us? See, here is an American. He gave up all his wealth and came and became a devotee. So why don't you also become? You have the opportunity. And his reply was, I just bought this rickshaw. How can I give it up? So this is how Maya will give us so many attachments. So many reasons not to join Krishna consciousness. It may be a rickshaw, it may be a scooter, it may be a new wife, it may be a new house. So, that is the reality of this material nature. But the point is, can anyone save us from this dangerous situation, this material nature? Therefore, it is so important that we develop our attachment to Krishna. And Srimad Bhagavatam is giving us so many wonderful examples. Starting from how Krishna protects Prahlad Maharaj. How Krishna protected him. Dhruva Maharaj. How by approaching him one can fulfill his desire. Then there are so many instances. Like here is the wonderful example of Bharat Maharaj. Gave up his kingdom and went to the forest in Pulahashram. And on the bank of, actually it's Pulahashram is on the bank of Saraswati river. So he is Gandaki. Yeah, Gandaki, right. And that's why Prabhupada is saying that you get Shaligram Shila there. And so, and can you imagine how difficult it can be? A person who has been living in such luxury. Especially for the men, probably it's not so difficult because they used to hardship. Say the warriors, they face a lot of hardship. The king, although he's a king, he goes to the battlefield and he goes out hunting, he's used to forest life. But often king's wife would also go, who had never seen any difficulty. This is another wonderful aspect of Vedic culture. Like Swayambhuva Manu's daughter. Swayambhuva Manu, another personality. Who was a Manu? He was the king of kings, actually. And his daughter must have been brought up in such luxury. And he got her married to a sage, an ascetic, living on the bank of a river in the forest. And although she was a princess, she not only accepted that life, she served her husband so sincerely. So this is Vedic culture. Everyone is an ideal personality. Men are ideal, women are ideal, children are ideal. And that is the Vedic culture. It's so unfortunate that that culture is lost today. And that is why we have the responsibility to revive that culture. And it starts with our own self. We have to appreciate the culture and we have to accept that culture, practice it ourselves. Mold our lives according to that culture. And that is what Prabhupada wanted. He wanted us to lead our lives based on Vedic culture. Who is hiding behind the doors? Ask them to come in. So, so that is what ISKCON stands for. And another thing that we have to be very, very careful about is what this world is like. We have to become aware of it. This world is not a very safe place. And as the time goes by, the situation is going to become more and more critical. As we advance in Kali Yuga, the situation will become more and more critical. So we have to be prepared for that. Actually, we have to be prepared at every moment. We have to be prepared to die at every moment. Because death can come at any time. And when it comes, how should we face it? How many of you think that someday you'll die? Very wise audience. Now if I ask when, does anybody know? How many of you think that he'll live another 35 years? Anyway, there. Even they are not raising their hands. That's the reality. That's the reality. It can come at any moment. Now, should you wait? Okay, not now. Let me just do whatever I am doing. I'll think of death after 10 years. Don't people think that way? Don't our relatives tell that also? Why are you doing Hare Krishna now? When you grow old, then you can do that. Abhacharan? So, but what do we as devotees understand? It can come at any moment. Now, should he prepare for that or should he remain unprepared? If death comes now, what shall I do? Shall you think, oh, I forgot to write my will? What will happen to my money in the bank? What will happen to the house? Will you have time to think that if death comes now? Therefore, whatever you have to do, just do it. If you have to write your will, write it now. Because you may not have the time to do it. If you have to prepare. What is the ultimate preparation? Is the ultimate preparation writing your will and distribute your inheritance in your wealth to your successors? No. When it comes, what should we do? At the time of death? Yes, Aniruddha, you are saying something? Let's hear. Very good. Remember the Lord. Remember Krishna. Now, will we be able to remember if our mind is somewhere else? That is the most important point. Will we be able to remember Krishna at the time of death if our mind is somewhere else at that time? Therefore, we have to free our mind from anything and everything and fix it on Krishna. Our attitude should be, when the time comes, we'll say, Krishna, I'm ready. Or even if it is Jamraj coming, or Jamaduta is coming. Jamaduta, I'm ready. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to meet the Mahajan. That should be our attitude. To us, Jamraj is not a fearsome person. Jamraj is not a frightening personality. To us, Jamraj is Bayashaki Balir Vayam. Who is that I here? Yes. So our Jamraj is a Mahajan. Now let us see, if you get to see Brahma, how will you feel? If you get to see Lord Shiva, how will you feel? If you get to see Prahlad Maharaj, how will you feel? If you get to see Vasudev, how will you feel? If you get to see Sukdev Goswami, how will you feel? If you get to see Jamraj, how will you feel? So if Jamadutas come, where will he take us? And if Jamadutas see that we have that attitude, they will not put the noose around our neck and whip us. They will say, Bancha kalpataru bharsha, kripa sindhu bhai vacha. Therefore, for a devotee, there is nothing to fear. Only thing is that they have to be prepared. Whatever comes, I am ready. I am ready to live now. All these years, what he had been practicing is actually for that moment. In ISKCON, for so many years, all the practices, all the rendering, devotional service that we have rendered, all that we have done, all the amount of prasad that we have taken is simply to come to that situation. Krishna, I am ready. And that's why we must harbor that attitude all the time. Not only at the time of death I'll think, Krishna, I am ready. Even now, Krishna, I am ready. Because I don't know when it will come, so I have to be prepared. Am I being too heavy today? Sometimes people think that, why you always talk about death and all that things? Why don't you speak of something very pleasant? Well, this will sound very pleasant at the most difficult time. So this is what we are here for. We are in Krishna consciousness to face the most critical time. And if we can face it properly, then our life has been successful. Our existence in this material nature has been successful. Our joining ISKCON has been successful. The purpose of our joining Krishna consciousness movement is simply to acquire this knowledge. Thank you all very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Gaur. Oh, okay. Okay, so should I begin the class again? Yeah, it's good. According to the law of Dayabhak, when one inherits an estate, he must hand it over to the next generation. Bharat Maharaj did this properly. First, he enjoyed his paternal property for 1,000 times 10,000 years. At the time of his retirement, he divided this property among his sons and left for Pulaha ashram. Yeah. So, nice point here is that one must, whatever one gets, yes, he can enjoy for some time, but then at some point he should hand it over to the next generation. And prepare himself for next life. And one nice thing is that you don't have to go to Pulahashram or Badarikashram. You can come to ISKCON ashram. And in ISKCON ashram, there is no hardship. In Pulahashram, Badrikashram, you can get, there will be lots of hardship. There is no guarantee that the prasad will come on time. There is no, you have to build a small little hut for yourself. There won't be a marble brahmachari ashram. There won't be beautiful deities to worship with such shringar, beautiful shringar. You won't have the association of so many devotees. So see what a wonderful arrangement Srila Prabhupada has created for us. Otherwise we had to go to Pulahashram. Or Badarik Ashram or Haridwar Ashram. But we are in ISKCON and we are having such a wonderful facility. And that's all due to Srila Prabhupada's mercy. Thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. And one more thing is that over there you won't have so many devotees to chant Hare Krishna with and dance in ecstasy. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Yes, does anybody have any question? Karma na Devana.
So, if you chant the holy name of the Lord, like it says, like, ek bar Ram Nam jato paap kare, paap ke sadhana jato paap.
Ek Ram Nam na, Krishna Nam.
So, even after remaining many, many years in Krishna consciousness, seeing through details hanging in our heart, does it mean it's arise from now forever? I don't understand.
It's difficult for me to say. But on your part, you become serious. Try to practice the process. Srila Prabhupada gave the very simple process of following four regulatory principles and chanting the holy name, render devotional service in the association of devotees. So let's just take advantage of the opportunity and carry on rendering devotional service.
In order to make our life successful, we have to free our mind completely from anything and everything. But it happens in course of our following devotional service, we become attached to some services, something that are very pleasurable to us. So if we die in that situation, so what would be our fate?
Yeah. You see, Krishna consciousness means, putting Krishna in the center, doing whatever you're doing is for Krishna's pleasure. Right? So, freeing your mind from everything actually means freeing your mind from any unnecessary attachment. Devotional service, yes. But then again, like when we are leaving, then we should be open to what's coming. Right? Like, even to remain attached to our service is not really desirable at that time. Because don't we see that when we change one service to another, we have to leave the other service? Right? So if somebody is a temple president and he thinks that, I like to be a temple president, I don't want to take any other service, although the authority thinks that, he should render some other service. Is it desirable? Right. Rather, in Krishna consciousness, we are open. Whatever comes, we are open. Right. So that time also we have to remain open. Yes, Krishna, I am ready. Wherever you want to take me, whatever you want to do with me, I am ready. Maro bhi, rakho bhi, jo ichha tumhara. Whether you want to kill me, whether you want to keep me. Kito janamo ho jatha tuada. It's not that, like you have to make me a big devotee. If you want me to be an insect, ready for that. But let me be in the association of devotees. That's my only prayer. Let me be in the association of devotees. There is one question from Mayapur, Kanina. Please accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet. Maharaj, last year in your Vas Puja at Surat, you stated one point. We have lived many lifetimes for ourselves. Now give this lifetime to Lord Krishna. This point has occupied a place in my heart. How can I work on it when chanting is not pure, with very fallen state of mind, dominated by Maya, etc.? Kanina, that's all right. Like, at least offer this life to Krishna, that is within your limitation. That's what actually Prabhupada told me in one of our early meetings. Prabhupada actually told me that for many, many lifetimes he had been trying to enjoy, and you can see that you're still not satisfied. So just offer this life to Krishna and see what happens. And even if nothing happens, what's the loss? It's just one life out of so many. So with that understanding, we have to surrender ourselves to Krishna, offer this life to Krishna. That means this life is only for Krishna's service. This life means this body, this mind, these words, in for Krishna's service. Thank you, Kanina. Hare Krishna.
How can we convert our mind always to Krishna consciousness? It's very difficult to always be Krishna conscious.
Krishna gave the instruction in Bhagavad Gita, Jat karosi, jadasnasi, jat juhosi, whatever you do. Like Prabhupada is also saying, when you're drinking water, you can think, Rasoham apsukonte. The taste of that water is Krishna. Prabhashmi sasisurjayo. You're seeing the sunlight. This is Krishna. The moonbeam is Krishna. Beautiful season, springtime, is Krishna. Like this is how at every moment we can relate to Krishna. Right? So that is how we have to. Therefore Krishna is saying, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying that always chant the holy name and always be absorbed in thinking about Krishna, speaking about Krishna's glory and rendering service to Krishna. Okay. Hare Krishna.
In a karmic point of view, like we have stated this example of Bharat Maharaj, like he enjoyed the material life. As we are in a karmic life, connected to ISKCON, practicing Bhakti also, but when we outside, like in our professional world and in our family, so there is always a fear in the back of the mind, like if I am doing this activity at very much like attention or so it may lead us toward that I may attach to this process, I mean this professional or my family relations very much and I may forget my bhakti, my devotional life. So there is always a conflict, or we can say there's always a tug of war, like how to maintain a balance. So the thing comes in mind like how to, and it leads us that we are not able to give our 100% to our work, that we are not getting the quality.
What was that?
We are not able to do the quality work. And in the families also we are not able to do the quality relations or quality time to our.
Okay, in simple words I'll say, try to make the best out of a bad bargain. Like, we are in that situation, so what can be done? Like as much as possible, become Krishna conscious. And that is what really matters. Like at least, try to follow that standard of chanting 16 rounds and following the 4 regulative principles. And, like wherever we are, as much as possible, try to keep our minds absorbed in Krishna consciousness. And if we can't, because of surrounding, at least let us harbor a kind of feeling of repentance. Oh, I wish that I was in an atmosphere where I could be more Krishna conscious. And that will help, like in the age of Kali, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has become very, very merciful. So let's depend upon his mercy. Patito pavono hetu tavo avatar. You have come to deliver the fallen souls. So please consider me another fallen soul. Like that is our attitude. That should be our attitude. But the thing is that, at least you have come to Krishna consciousness. Can you imagine, had you not have come to Krishna consciousness, what would have happened? Isn't that, a progress in itself? At least you have found Krishna consciousness. You are practicing it sincerely. So just carry on. Hare Krishna. Oh, Rupal, USA. Hare Krishna Maharaj, Pam Ho, AGTSP. Just a quick question on Vishnu Priya. If Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had revealed himself to her before he left, thank you very much. Your servant, Vishwa. Okay. So, so, you see, we have to understand that Vishnu Priya Devi is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's eternal consort. Vishnu Priya Devi is his 3 potencies, Shri, Bhu and Nila. In this respect, Shri is Lakshmi Priya, Bhu is Vishnu Priya, and Nila is Navadvip Dham. So Vishnu Priya is the eternal consort, and in that respect you can consider Vishnu Priya is Srimati Radharani. Vishnu Priya is Satyabhama. And so their relationship is eternal. And whether Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealed himself to her in his, I think you meant whether revealed himself to her before he left, that means as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Like here we have to understand that, it's his pastimes, and it's not just an ordinary man-woman relationship as husband-wife. The Lord is actually enacting his pastimes. And some scriptures say that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did inform her before leaving house for sannyas. Hare Krishna. Any other question? Okay, thank you all very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Om.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you so much for being attentive. Let me mute. Like, just to summarize some of the points. Like Maharaj started with like Bharat Maharaj ruled this world by 1,000 times into 10,000, so which is 1 crore. Then Maharaj very nicely moved. Only in the Vedic system, like a king leaving the very opulent kingdoms and then going to the forest, and this is not found anywhere else. So why only here in India? Then on Maharaj answered, it is because of spiritual knowledge is available.